The following is a Hoop Ball presentation. Welcome to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Fantasy NBA Today show. My name is Neil Rochlani in replace of Dan Vespris, also here with Josh Millman. Josh, how many times have you been on the show?
This is actually, I want to say number 3, and that's not nearly enough. But that's not your fault. That's actually Dan's fault.
Yeah, fair enough.
I have no problem blaming Dan for things, and he knows that I will be very quick to blame him for things, which is fine. Well, I don't even know. Like, what is he? Was he preparing for Passover today? He's that busy? He's got matzo balls and brisket to prepare. What's going on there?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I don't think he won't even listen to this, so it'll be okay. We'll be fine.
Oh yeah, of course, I know. So right, so let's just talk behind his back. Like that's the way to go.
What I was going to get to, before I get into this, I should mention that this is a Hoop Ball presentation, and we are sponsored by Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee. You can find their products at hawaiianisles.com and also at amazon.com. Josh, I don't think we've spoken before. If we have, I apologize. So I was just going to get into a little bit of my background at Hoop Ball really quickly, and then yours. You're on the right.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so I've been totally on the audio visual side, and have you been on the writing side mostly?
I started on the writing side. I've gotten a little bit more into the audio video side. I started out writing. I still write somewhat. It's just been it's been slow going lately, but that's fine. Like, because we're like kind of past the regular season. But every Thursday night, I'd been doing our video chats with Sorio. And just popping up from time to time on the podcast, like I said, with Dan, but just not nearly as often as I'd like. But I think that hopefully next season that will grow.
Yes, I'm going to try to make that change as well. And I started off on the nighttime shows as well, and then I did the box score breakdown this past season, which was a labor of love. And Adrian,
an excellent labor of love.
Thank you very much. Adrian had a lot of patience to work with me because, as you can probably guess, we had some technical difficulties when we did our show as well. So we had some starts and stops. All right. Well, today, in terms of fantasy, I thought we would talk about a few different things. First, I always like to talk about my leagues, and I want to talk about your leagues and how you did, and maybe whatever you want to share, like anything you learned from it, anything you're taking away from it, anything that was new this season. Yeah. Do you want to start us off? You want me to start us off? How do you feel comfortable?
I'm more, one thing Dan will tell you is I'm more than happy to talk about myself.
Okay.
I'm not bashful in that regard, but I had, this was kind of like my first full year at Hoop Ball. So, and a lot of I tweeted about this, but like a lot of the, me wanting to come over was like I was trying to, find new competition, see if I can hang with some of the big boys. I don't have time for Brewski's in 30 leagues. I don't have time for that. But I did 5 leagues this year. And the good thing for me was that they're each kind of different in their own regard. So like each one was, different strategy, different, amount of teams, so on and so forth. So it was a good test for each one. And I out of the 5 leagues that I was in, I made the playoffs in 3 and won 2 of them.
Oh, wow. So, fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with that. I would have liked to have been in more playoffs.
Did you, can I interrupt you for a second? Because I have all these questions.
Go for it. Yeah.
Were they all head to head then?
All of them were head to head. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All of them, some variation of head to head. So the one league. All right. So my first championship was, is a 10-team keeper league based on salary cap.
Oh, okay.
which is 9-cat head to head. And I won that league. So that's like my friend's league.
Okay.
like with a lot of my close buddies, and I won that finally. I made the playoffs every year, but the title had been elusive to me, but it finally came through. The second league that I won, actually, I'm glad that we're talking about this, was one of the hoop ball cash leagues, the 12-team cash league
Oh, nice.
that I won. So I think you owe me money.
Did you not get paid?
I did not get paid. You owe me money. So I'm glad that we're talking. Hoop ballers, here you're if for those of you listening, Neil owes me money, and I want you to hold it against them until I get paid.
Here's the thing.
So, yeah.
I have no control over the payments. Dan does. I think so. But no. Can you check? He processed them this week? So can you just double check to make sure?
Oh, did he? Okay, I'll check because I asked Dan, and he's like, "Well, you got to talk to Neil." I said, "Okay, I'll talk to Neil."
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
That's so funny. I didn't think I have authority to do that. Maybe I do. I don't think he gave me authority to do money transfers. All right.
Well, whatever. I know where to find you people.
Okay.
In case I need to break.
Right.
In case I need to break some thumbs. So.
Yeah, no, that's my bad then if it was me. I was pushing back on him because I thought there are certain like settings only he could do, and I assumed one of them was money, but maybe it wasn't.
Gotcha.
All right. Anyway,
all good.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that.
So thank you. How did you fare in yours?
Okay. Well, I won my home league, which is a 12-person roto league, and it's the third time. Well, I tied one year, which was so frustrating. So I have.
How do you tie?
How do you tie?
Oh, it's just like with that. Well, but like, there's no tiebreaker built in.
No, it was 8-category head-to-head, and we were 4 and 4. We had the same roto points, and we were 4-4, and we didn't have a third tiebreaker.
God.
We didn't have another tiebreaker.
Yeah. That's a terrible feeling.
It goes back here. I'm going to go on my little rant because it goes back like 3 seasons ago. We tied in field goal percentage over the entire season.
That's insane.
No. I take that back. Yeah. I lost in field goal percentage because I had Gordon Hayward. The game ended. I was up, and then I didn't notice, but it went to overtime. He went 0 for 2 in overtime, and then I lost that category.
Oh man!
So I will never forget
beat.
that. I will never forget that the rest of my life. Anyway, I'm sure no one else cares. Anyway, this year, so I won my home league, did pretty well in that one. I played 2 head-to-heads, and I may be able to pick your brain then today or some other time about head-to-heads. I don't know how to stream down this stretch because I won both regular seasons, but then I lost in the championship round in both of them. And one was the hoop ball league. Did you do a hoop ball league? I mean, the internal leagues. Did you do one of those?
The staff league.
The staff league, yes.
Yeah, the staff league. I missed the playoffs. That was one of the 2 leagues that I missed the playoffs.
Okay.
But my team was good, but like I got just savaged by injury, like pretty much right at the same time. Like it was January, and I lost LeBron, I lost Jonas, I lost Clint Capella, I lost Spencer Dinwiddie. I lost, like, again within the span of like 2 weeks, half of my team, like all like top 100 plus players.
Yeah.
Like right smack at the same time, and I just couldn't recover from that. I was trending in like 3rd or 4th in the league until that point, and then just for the next like 6+ weeks or so, like all hell broke loose on my team, and I just couldn't recover.
Yeah, that once you get, and then all the sitting right from the other players as well. Was so
it's
frustrating.
Just right,
yeah.
and it's like we had 2, I think, injury spots, but like I had maybe 6 or 7 guys injured, but none of them were really like, okay, if I dropped Jonas Valanciunas, someone was going to grab him.
Right.
You know, if I like there was no other way around it. So I had to hang on to guys. I had a lot of dead weight on my team, and it sucked. So happens. What can you do?
Yeah, well, that's the challenge, right? So if you're in a situation where you have players you can't play, and so you're going to lose a couple weeks, were you just kind of hoping they'd come back for like the last, so you sneak in the playoffs, or what were you thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was hoping, like, look, I didn't want to just drop guys for free. And I think also, it was a 12 team. I think we were all 12 team in that staff league.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those, I kind of knew that, if I dropped certain guys, that they were gone. I was never seeing them again.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to, I had to outweigh, just sitting on, a very thin roster versus picking up someone who was a borderline, top 150 guy who may have a good week, may not have a good week. And the other thing in my own defense is that I think that, it was Panda. Panda was the commissioner of the league.
Mm.
And we were using Yahoo's system. So you couldn't make, we were allowed 4 pickups per week to do, daily lineup setting. But you had to pick the player up the night before, or else that player wasn't on your roster for that day's games. So I couldn't go that day and at 6 something say, oh, this guy got hurt. This, almost like a DFS, where you're looking for value
Mm-hmm.
on a daily basis. I couldn't do that because you couldn't pick up the guy the moment before the game to play, because you had to pick them up the day before. So even that was a disadvantage as well. So, but at the end of the day, I had to try to, figure out, if I drop this person, will I see them again? And the funny thing was, one of the guys I dropped was Kent Bazemore, just for example. Kent Bazemore was gone the next day. And Kent Bazemore didn't even have that good of a season.
Yeah.
But it's just when your players, who see, oh, Kent Bazemore should be a top 100 player, I can get him for free, why not? It's just that's the way it goes, I guess.
Yeah, and I should mention there were 3 hoop ball leagues, so that's why I'm kind of ignorant of your team. We weren't in the same league.
No, yeah, but were we in a league? Were you in the cash league with me though?
I was not in the hoop ball listener league this season. I had 3 commitments, and that was enough for me. You talked about 5 being a lot. I did 3, and I was confused.
Oh, you.
So
Yeah.
I did one with so I did the hoop ball staff league. I did my home league, and then I joined one of Eric Ong's leagues out in the Philippines, money league.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
So that was a 14 team head to head, which.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm still learning the head to head, so I may be asking more questions and telling you things today.
No. But you asked about the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And this was a hard lesson for me to learn. Once you get to those last 2 weeks, you cannot have loyalty to your guys within those last 2 weeks. And I've learned that the hard way a couple times. But this year I said I'm not going to have any loyalty whatsoever. And I want to go and I wish I could find this real quick. Because I made such a wacky maneuver in the last week of the season, and it worked out. I think I dropped. God, who the hell did I drop? I don't know, but I picked up. Yeah, I'm now totally blanking, and my league's not coming up really quickly. But in any case, you just can't have loyalty. If you got a guy that if it's not a keeper league and you're just doing a redraft, and that guy just has a lousy schedule, or playing 2 games, 3 games, it may be nursing an injury, you just got to go for broke sometimes. And you may or may not play that guy, but someone like a Delon Wright, came in with triple doubles out the wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are I picked up Miles Bridges over the last couple weeks, and that ended up working out. But I had been holding Gary Harris all year because Gary Harris was good, but he dealt with nagging injuries all season, and at the end I said I can't keep holding on to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth it. Could someone? And the thing is that over the last 2 weeks of the season, who's picking up Gary Harris at that point?
Right.
It's kind of a vanity thing for you to say, well, Gary Harris should be a top guy, so let me keep him on my roster. But then at the same time, you're probably missing out on a potential hot player that that should be that if they have a favorable. I really look at schedule also is the big thing. If you see someone getting minutes and has 4 games, 5 games, something like that, that's a huge factor in making that decision. It's such, especially for counting stats, it's such an immense difference as you get into crunch time in head to head, that if you can find some guy who could perform like a borderline top 100 player, and they have a favorable schedule or teams dealing with injury, sometimes, fortune flavors the bold. So you got to do that sometimes in crunch time.
Yeah, I'm still learning how to do that as well. Here's the thing. I didn't even pay attention to my settings because in my one league, the 14-team head-to-head league, there were 8 teams that made the playoffs and no one got a bye. So there was really no value in finishing first, other than to say I finished first in the regular season.
Right.
Which
no regular season prize or anything like that?
No regular season prize, no bye week, no distinct advantage I could see of. So I should have been planning for my playoffs once I knew I was in the top 8. Just that should have been my goal, and I just didn't do that. And that was a big miss. Right. So, yeah, I've got to learn how to do that. And then the streaming part, right? How do you get guys that have that many games that are on the margins? Yet you have only 4 moves per week, so you got
to. So I have my example.
Okay.
I was looking at the wrong league.
Okay.
So I was looking at the wrong league. So I don't know if I had him or I claimed him, but I had and my team. Now Mirotic I knew was gone, but Drew Holiday was kind of at the everyone felt that he was going to be shut down, but New Orleans never officially ruled him out. So I was kind of holding on to him for a little bit. I think someone may have dropped him once the injury happened or what have you. So I said, all right, you know what? It's Drew Holiday. I want to just at least try it out. And then at the end of the league, I picked Curry. And because my point guard situation was a bit problematic because my point guard was Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving in the particular week was dealing with an injury and some rest, coming up. And I knew at best he was playing 2 games that week.
Okay.
And Seth Curry was getting a lot more burn because CJ McCollum was hurt. And so I said, you know what? Well, I'm just going to stream. Portland had 4 games that week, 4 favorable games. And I said, you know what? I got to do this. I can't risk Kyrie Irving only playing 1 game that week when I can get Seth Curry, who's been getting 25, 30 minutes a night, without McCollum, and can stream points and threes and maybe get, cheap steals here and there. Mm-hmm. And it turned out, and that week, Seth Curry went off. He was great. And it ended up winning me that cash league. So that was the specific story. Now, anyone rostering Seth Curry throughout the year? No. But those weeks when when a guy can go off, those are the decisions. You cannot have loyalty even to a Kyrie Irving, especially when the schedule doesn't favor it in the championship weeks.
Yeah, that's I thought I was pretty good at letting guys go, but I would have trouble with my big names. I think just for emotional sake, it would be tough. I think I held on to some guys.
It was the toughest lesson for sure.
Yeah. That was, we'll see. I think for me, it's just really learning how to to stream efficiently. Right. I would say, okay, I got 4 pickups, this week. I have some dead weight of guys that are just not great. I'm going to find 3 or 4 guys that are playing 4 games that kind of match my stat set, and then make the decision like in 1 or 2 days, and then just don't do any changes. Are you constantly doing changes throughout that playoff week, or are you doing it early in the week?
I try my best to tinker. Like it's finding a balance. There's a degree of just understanding that, look, you got here for a reason, like, because like good players are good. But at the same time, it's like I try to tinker with guys, again, looking at schedule ahead of time, but also looking at situations in the league where a Seth Curry could go off, or, like a Daylon Wright could go off, or, whoever that may be, just any sort of diamond in the rough. Thomas Bryant, for example, just like being proactive about finding those guys who are going to get significant run in those last 2 weeks, because it's very much silly season. And guys are going to get like major minutes who wouldn't major minutes. And it doesn't hurt to be proactive, especially if you know that there's a team that's doing that but has 4 games that week. Take the flyer, active about it. If you don't start, you don't have to start. If you're desperate at any position, you might as well be proactive about it.
Yeah, and that whole silly season bothers me as well. I feel like it becomes more luck than skill at some point. But
yeah, but at the same time, in defense of that, like, because I know there's a lot of load management going on. I do football leagues and baseball leagues and have sports. You're getting to the end of the, just bad teams are bad, and guys who you've never heard of are, who are third string running backs or wide receivers, just get thrust into playing time and boom, have big weeks out of nowhere and win you leagues. It's more prominent in football, but baseball, it's kind of the same thing in baseball. Like, there are teams that are just straight up dead, or have called up guys from AAA, you've never heard of, and all it takes is someone to bat 500 for a week, and you're set.
Yeah, it doesn't favor the lazy. I want to be lazy.
No,
Just
well,
have my team out.
I know.
That's the
Set
problem.
it and forget it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so I was in 3 leagues this past season, and I think you said you were in 5. I think I might up to a couple more leagues. I want to try a couple more formats. It sounds like you were in a points format league. Was that correct?
No, I didn't do any points. They were all different head-to-heads.
Okay.
But like different sizes, different rules attached. And there was one league. So I'm probably going to do either 4 or 5. I just don't know. There's one league that I'm dropping altogether. It was a 24-team league. That was one of the original like hoopball listener leagues that was how I got into hoopball.
Yep.
And it's just like there was a trade that got vetoed, and it really screwed up my team for the whole year. And it really gave me a bad, feel of everything. It was like kind of like one of those things where like, and there were bad trades going on in this league the entire offseason. And it was one of those, well, why is my trade getting vetoed? Not like all this stuff. It's all subjective anyway.
Right.
And so it left a really bad taste in my mouth, and I just said, you know what, I'm not dealing with this again. So I'll be out of that, but maybe I'll replace that with something different. So we'll see. But minimum 4, I would imagine I'm doing. Maybe another 5 again. It was a lot, but the other thing that I may want to get more into is more DFS also.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I want to touch on that I forgot to bring up in my notes to you. What do you feel like DFS makes you a better fantasy player or not? I don't know yet.
I think it does to a degree.
Okay.
But this works especially in daily head to head. If when you have daily head to head, and you have like a limited amount of pickups or, changes in roster that you need to make, or guys that are hurt, figuring out who the DFS community likes, like in terms of a value basis, is really good to do like daily pickups in head-to-head leagues. So that happens constantly. Like, case in point is kind of like, again, we spoke about Kyrie Irving before, but it was always like Kyrie Irving gets hurt, Terry Rozier always gets like massively owned in DFS. So same kind of rules apply if you're in a daily head-to-head league. If you have Kyrie Irving, and Terry Rozier is on your wire, or is, maybe you have him as a handcuff, play him in a daily format, because chances are he's going to go off, because that's just how they operate.
So I did DFS. I did the. Did you do any contests with the hoop ball? I did that.
Oh yeah.
I
am great at those. You shouted out to our friends at Hawaiian Isles.
You came first and second one week. Didn't you win? First?
I came second, like really early on in the season.
Yes.
And then that second to last week, I came in first and second. I just destroyed people. I felt great about myself that day.
Fantastic. I did win one. I won like the second week, which I got.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah. I think you won. You won the week that I finished second, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, did you get your Hawaiian Isles Kona coffee?
I got the call. Yeah.
I have still not got my T-shirt, which I am still very bitter about.
Seriously, again, as we always say now,
yes.
Blame Dan.
Yes,
blame Dan.
I am just gonna
keep. It's Dan's fault.
And anyway, so I think because I won it early on, and then ever since then, I was just horrible. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just feel like it was beginner's luck, and I'm still figuring out what I'm doing.
It's like, I try my best to crowdsource material. I mean, I obviously, like, I read Mike Patria's info, and and I have other other things I look at via Twitter, and and I just try to do my best, to just apply logic and reason. If X player is hurt, is Y player going to replace that person? Is it going to be a committee? Is that player's salary cap reasonable enough? I try not to do too many stabs in the dark. I just try to especially, like, I don't play a lot of like the tournaments. Because I like that. Your money's just going to get flushed down the toilet eventually, because that's where they get you.
Yeah.
But if you play in cash leagues and 50-50s, and you just you play your studs and just find value guys who are going to get burned on a particular night with injuries, you're going to finish in the top 50%, more times than not. So I try to apply that logic as best as I can.
Did you do other leagues besides the Hoop Ball League, the DFS?
I don't do. I do a head-to-head league with a buddy of mine out in California. It's a way for us to stay in touch.
Okay.
But no other, like, I did the Hoop Ball leagues, but no other like DFS based leagues. I think it would be fun though if, like, we did a Hoop Ball league that was DFS based, where we get a lot of people. Like, it's a lot. It's like you have to do it every day to be committed to it.
Okay.
But like, you can do it, like, and you can set it up for free, and then just do like a payout at the end of the year for the the guy that has the most wins or has the most points. And I do this in football with a bunch of friends. It just requires you setting a daily lineup. But if anyone, I you know what? Here, I'll make a proclamation. Hoop ballers, I'm going to set up a DFS league for us, and anyone who wants to join is welcome. Details to be determined there. Break on today, bye.
Fantastic. But you also cut out there for a second. So anyway, on that note, wait, are you there, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think we should wrap it up. I got to wrap it up, unfortunately. Oh wait, you faded out there. I can barely.
All good, my man. Just
okay.
Let's close shop.
Let's close shop. Thanks for joining me. I'm gonna try to get you on the show as often as possible.
Dude, let's do it. I love this stuff.
All right, fantastic. There's a lot more I want to talk to you about, but because of technology, we took a lot of time to record a half-an-hour show. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. What's your Twitter handle in case people want to reach out to you?
I am at Josh Millman. In case I cut out again, at Josh Millman. Very simple, my name.
Yes, and I am at Ball with Neil on Twitter. And once again, this is a Hoop Ball presentation. We are sponsored by our good friends at Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee. Josh, how many of those things have you gone through now? Then since you've won a few.
I have a box sitting in my. I've yet to use it. I'm collecting them like trophies right now.
Well, if you ever need to donate them to someone, I know Micah Patria really likes their coffee.
I need to get like a coffee maker is my problem.
Oh, I see. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Thanks again for listening, everyone. Dan Besbris, the guy who we affectionately love, will be back.
The guy.
Yes, the head of this whole thing. We'll be back on Monday to kick us off. We'll be back Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I believe I'll be back Thursday, then Adrian is going to take over Friday. We're going to switch days. So until then, have a good weekend. And
happy holidays, Hoop Ballers.
Oh, yes. Happy holidays. And we'll talk to you then.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.